I was asking you what you're looking for. You said you're not looking for a relationship, but you're also...
I'm not opposed to it, though.
You're not opposed to it. Well, I mean, it's unfortunate you're not willing to reveal your age, because I do feel like that would give me a little more context. Because if you're 21 versus 31, I mean, there's just... Do you want... Here, let me ask. Do you want to get married?
No.
Okay, fair. Do you want to have kids?
At some point, yes.
At some point, yes. Okay. So knowing your age would be helpful in this conversation because, as Andrew pointed out, there is a time limit when it comes to having children.
Maybe she froze her eggs.
Did you?
There's so many different ways to preserve your fertility.
See, but this is a lie we tell women, because actually, even if you do freeze your eggs, granted, it's an option. My understanding is it's like 50%, the success rate of...
Unfreezing them.
It's like 50%. So it could work, but...
Yeah, and they also often have to use different carriers, right? They have to use a different carrier than them to carry the child.
I'm not worried about procreation. For me,
but
that's
you do
not
want
the
kids.
Goal.
Wait, what's the goal? So it is a goal.
So I'm going to be honest. I feel like most of my life, I was doing so much learning, studying, working, that I haven't quite lived enough. That I was told so much by parents, people around, society, what's good and what's not good to do, that at this point, I'm just balancing it out a little bit, and I'm letting myself feel it out, breathe, experience life that I normally wouldn't.
You gotta find yourself, right?
But what's the point?
Gotta find myself.
What's the purpose or the point of going on 100 dates? What are you looking for? Because you said...
What are we all looking for? I feel like it's, in the end of the day, whenever we talk to other people, it's connection one way or another, right?
But what are you practically looking for? Do you want a long-term boyfriend? Do you want marriage? It sounds like one day you want kids. Mm-hmm. So I assume that I'm assuming you'd want to have your own biological children with a man, and I'm assuming you'd hope that man, whether you get married or not, remains in your life.
Or not, that's fine too.
You'd be okay with that?
Absolutely.
You wouldn't have any qualms. Like, let's say it was just, you're just like, I could take him or leave him, the father of my children.
That's fine. I'm not going to try to use children as a reason to get him to stay.
Well, but you just said you're looking for connection. Wouldn't you want to have a great connection with your potential partner, the potential father of your children?
Absolutely, yes. But if that connection wears out, or we have stronger connection with other people, it's perfectly fine to separate.
Whoa, hold on. So if you're in an otherwise healthy relationship with somebody, but you meet somebody else that you have more physical attraction towards, or a stronger connection, right? But let's say you're more physically attracted to them, or for you, if maybe it's more important to have a strong connection. If you feel a stronger connection to another individual, but your relationship is otherwise good, you would leave.
So there's usually a reason.
Father of your children.
So there's usually a reason as to why people even start looking or given that idea, like entertaining that idea in their mind as to why they would leave
What you just
person.
said, honestly, is a scarlet letter, and I don't think any man should ever commit to you.
And that is fine too.
Because if your position is, what if somebody else comes along who I have a better connection with, that should not be pretext for ending an otherwise healthy relationship.
That is not what I'm saying.
Certainly if there's children involved.
So,
well, that is what you just said.
Yeah, literally.
Let me paraphrase what I just said, because it seems like you understood that differently.
Okay, sure.
So if for whatever reason, usually the reason why one would leave a relationship would be that there are gaps in the relationship. And let's say that...
What do you mean by gaps?
Let's say there's certain tension. You got to know the person better, and it turned out that he or she is different, and you're not enjoying it as much as you were.
What do you mean by enjoyment? Do you mean like having fun? Because it's not clear to me if the ultimate
Let's say you're arguing, right? Let's say...
That's couples argue as long as...
Right, if it becomes most of the time.
Okay.
If they're arguing all the time, if they're not agreeing, if they're not enjoying the time together, what's the point of staying together for the sake of the child?
Well, because if you are to look at the outcome of what happens to a child, if you remove the father from the home, for instance, if you just remove the father from the home, even if the child's in an home with both their parents being active, and you enter into a stepfather moving into the home, right? they're still at a higher risk than even if they were with the parents.
I disagree. All
no,
the
it's not- hang on,
child
it's
needs
not-
is a
It's
father
not-
figure.
listen,
It does
I
not
don't
need to
know
be a
if I- hang on,
biological father.
It's not a I know how it sounds.
I don't know if I agree. I don't know if I agree on that.
But hang
All
on,
the
hang
child
on.
needs is a
What,
father figure.
what test said that?
I'm
I gotta use that.
I can give you the study, but it is true. It's the same thing with the state. It's interesting if you remove a child from a home and you enter the child in with the state to get them out of an abusive home, right? Their chance of being abused under state custody and of expiring under state custody are actually higher than if you left the child in the abusive home. What's interesting about this is like people don't even realize that this is true, but having another man come into the home, a stepfather in the home and the biological father taken out, that's when most abuses inside the home towards children even happen. The outcomes are really, really bad for children inside of homes when their parents split up. And what it always is it's always a woman who has the mentality that you have. And this mentality is, if something better comes along, I'll leave, right? That's why women are initiating most of the divorces. Something better comes along, I'll leave. And they do. And they leave, and they break up the home, and they break up the family, and then all the entire generations raised by single moms.
Men do that all the time.
Men
though,
walk
too.
out the trope
Who's
of-
initiating the divorces? Is it men or women?
So you're saying that
If he cheats, it's okay.
They're not divorcing him because he's cheating. They divorce over irreconcilable
But also
differences. I
men
don't
are-
feel happy.
men are like, if you're providing for a man and you're being a wife, even if he can still do whatever he wants to do, cheat, whatever, talk to you however, be whatever, and still come home to you and you still take care of him, why would he go get a divorce? Why would he do that? So
They're not. Women are
hold on, I'm
initiating
just
them.
talking about in the
Yeah.
whatever example
the
that we're
extra labor.
speaking of, because you're saying if you're in an abusive home, but if you're better off in an abusive home if there's two parents, but then in a non-abusive home with one parent because the dad's not there, that doesn't even make sense. And I'm also just saying, you're on top of you saying that women are initiating divorces, a lot of times, just making my point, if you're making a man comfortable, you're being a wife to him, he has no reason to divorce you. Even if he's unhappy, he still comes home to a home-cooked meal, he still comes home to a clean house, you're taking care of the kids. Why would he go get a divorce? I would initiate the divorce.
So,
Right?
so you're saying that men, of course, just aren't doing what they're supposed to do, and women are dissatisfied because men aren't
I
doing
never
what
said
they,
that.
Well, then why are women
was just saying-
initiating 80% of the divorces?
Okay,
But
But
I
wait.
was making the point that men are less likely to initiate a divorce, in the sense of if everything is being taken care of for them at home, why would you go get a divorce? If I can come home to my wife, I can go cheat or go gamble, whatever, all day, and then I still have a wife at home. I'm just saying,
but they're
as
not.
a man, why would you go get a divorce
Well,
on the
Men
And lose
aren't,
half your
though.
shit.
as
They're not.
opposed to
Men
being
aren't.
the woman who now you're bearing the brunt of, okay, whether he's not holding up whatever boundaries or whatever you guys have in your marriage, he's not adhering to those, so
What
now
are
you're
those?
the woman.
They're not divorcing them because the men are cheating. They're not divorcing them for that reason. We know this because they tell us this.
Okay, so
when we poll them.
statistically, what is it?
They're usually just saying
Dissatisfied.
irreconcilable differences.
We're dissatisfied.
and we don't know what that means
for the same reason that
necessarily.
she's going on 100 dates and she can only barely
I'm
find
just
one
not
guy.
sat-
It's the
I
same
know what the
reason that
meaning is.
80% of
It's
women are
what she
initiating
said.
divorce.
It's
Yeah,
what she
I'm just
said is that
dissatisfied, right?
Dissatisfied.
I'm no longer entertained. I'm bored. Look, there's certainly instances of abuse and that happens, but I think a lot of divorce is just like, I'm bored.
Well,
we're
if
not
women are initiating divorces, what is the push for monogamy then? If 80% of women are initiating divorces and it's maybe not so great, I'm just curious. We're just having conversation.
Yeah.
I'm very much devil's advocate, so I'm just curious, what is the whole big deal about promiscuousness and monogamy? If
Well,
women
there's
are getting divorced at these high rates, then go let them be
Hold on.
freaking with anyone. Who cares?
Here, maybe we can come